I found out about my sister's engagement party the same way. I found out about most things in my family these days, accidentally late at night, scrolling through my phone, feeling that familiar tightness in my chest before my brain even caught up with what my eyes were seeing. It was a picture my mom had posted on her WhatsApp status. Balloons, fairy lights, my sister in the center wearing a shy smile and a ring I'd never seen before, and my parents standing proudly on either side of her. The caption said something casual like, "Small family get-together. Blessings for our girl." Small family get-together. Funny how I wasn't there. Funny how no one thought to call me. And I remember whispering out loud to my empty room, "Am I not family anymore? So tell me honestly, was I wrong for feeling betrayed by the people who raised me?" Growing up, my sister and I were never the kind of siblings you see in movies, sharing secrets under blankets or defending each other against the world. We were close in age, but very different in personality. She was calm, obedient, the kind of daughter teachers loved and relatives praised. I was louder, more emotional, the one who asked questions and pushed back when something didn't feel right. My parents never said they preferred her. Not directly, but you feel those things as a child. You feel it when your mistakes are remembered longer, when your achievements are treated like exceptions instead of expectations. Still, despite all that, I believed that when it really mattered, when big life moments happened, we'd all show up for each other. That belief is probably what hurt the most when it finally shattered. After seeing that picture, I didn't sleep. My mind kept replaying memories, trying to find the exact moment things went this wrong. I thought back to the last few years, how my relationship with my parents had become strained after I moved out. I had chosen a career path they didn't approve of, made decisions they considered too modern, too independent. There were arguments, long silences, passive-aggressive comments during family dinners, but never, not once, did I imagine they would exclude me from something this important. An engagement isn't just a party. It's a milestone. It's a moment you remember forever. And I wasn't even given the choice to say yes or no. The next morning, I called my mom. I tried to sound normal, like my heart wasn't racing. I said, "Ami, I saw the pictures. Congratulations to her. When was the engagement?" There was a pause, just a second too long. Then she laughed lightly and said, "Oh, that. It was nothing, Beta. Just a small get-together." Very last minute, I asked her why I wasn't told. She sighed, the kind of sigh that already carries blame. "We didn't think it was necessary. You're always busy, and it wasn't a big function." That word, necessary, hit me like a slap. Necessary, as if my presence was optional, disposable. I called my sister next. Part of me hoped she would say it was a misunderstanding, that she had asked for me, that she was sorry. Instead, she sounded uncomfortable, distant. She said, "I thought you knew." "I assumed Ami told you." When I asked her why she didn't call me herself, she said she didn't want to get involved, that she didn't want drama on her special day. Drama. As if my existence alone was drama. I hung up feeling smaller than I ever had before. Over the next few days, relatives started calling me, congratulating me on my sister's engagement, asking why I wasn't in any of the pictures. Each call felt like reopening the same wound. I laughed it off, made excuses, but inside I was screaming. I replayed every argument, every boundary I had tried to set with my parents, wondering if this was my punishment for not being the daughter they wanted. I started questioning myself. Was I really that difficult? Did I deserve this? Things got worse when I finally went to my parents' house a week later. I needed answers face to face. The house looked festive, still decorated. Engagement favors stacked on the dining table. I asked my dad directly why I wasn't invited. He barely looked up from his newspaper and said, "We didn't want any tension. You and your opinions, your lifestyle. We wanted peace. Peace. At the cost of excluding their own child." My mom added, "You should understand. It was her day." As if my presence would have ruined it. That's when something inside me snapped. I realized this wasn't just about one party. This was about how easily they erased me. How quickly they decided their comfort mattered more than my feelings. I told them how hurt I was, how humiliating it felt to be the only sibling not invited. My mom started crying, saying I was overreacting, that I always made things about myself. My dad said, "If you want to be treated like family, you should act like it." I left before I said something I couldn't take back, but the damage was already done. For weeks after that, I barely spoke to any of them. I watched from a distance as wedding preparations began. As my sister and parents bonded over guest lists and venues, I wasn't asked for opinions. I wasn't included in group chats. It was like they had quietly decided I was no longer part of this chapter of their lives. And here's the thing that really messes with your head. They still called me occasionally, still asked how I was, still acted like nothing was wrong. They wanted normal without accountability. Around this point in the story, this is where I need you to pause and really put yourself in my place. Imagine being excluded by the people who are supposed to love you unconditionally. Imagine being told it's not a big deal when it clearly is to you. So that's the situation I was in, and I had to make a choice. Before I tell you what I did next, I want you to comment below and tell me honestly what you would have done if you were me. The wedding invitation arrived 2 months later. Not a call, not a conversation, just a card delivered like a formality. My name was printed correctly, but it felt wrong, like an afterthought. No mention of roles, no acknowledgement of the past hurt, just an expectation that I would show up, smile, and pretend everything was fine. That's when I realized they didn't just want me there. They wanted my compliance, my silence. I spent nights going back and forth in my head. Part of me wanted to attend, to prove I was the bigger person, to avoid more family conflict. Another part of me was exhausted, tired of swallowing my feelings to keep everyone else comfortable. I thought about that engagement party again, about how easily they excluded me, how casually they dismissed my pain. And I knew that if I went to that wedding without addressing this, I would be telling them it was okay to treat me this way. So I made a decision that shocked everyone. I declined the invitation. I sent a message to my parents and my sister explaining why. I told them I loved them, but I couldn't celebrate a union when I felt so disconnected from my own family. I explained how the engagement incident broke something in me, how calling it just a get-together didn't erase the hurt. I wasn't rude. I wasn't dramatic. I was honest. The fallout was immediate. My mom called me crying, saying I was ruining my sister's happiness. My dad accused me of being selfish, of holding grudges. My sister sent a long message saying she was disappointed in me, that I was making everything about myself again. Relatives got involved, some siding with me quietly, others openly criticizing me for being too sensitive. It was messy. It was painful, but for the first time I didn't back down. The wedding happened without me. I saw pictures later, my sister glowing, my parents smiling like nothing was missing. And yes, that hurt. I'd be lying if I said it didn't. But there was also a strange sense of relief. I hadn't betrayed myself. I hadn't shown up just to be invisible. Months passed. The anger softened into something quieter, sadder. My relationship with my parents is still complicated. We talk, but there are boundaries now. Real ones. My sister and I barely speak. Maybe one day we'll rebuild something. Or maybe we won't. I've learned that sometimes love doesn't look the way you expect it to. And sometimes choosing yourself means being labeled the villain. Looking back, I don't regret my decision. I regret that it had to be made at all. I regret that my parents couldn't see how excluding me from just a get-together changed everything. I regret that my sister chose comfort over connection. But I don't regret standing up for myself. If there's one thing this whole mess taught me, it's that family isn't just about blood or shared last names. It's about respect, inclusion, and showing up for each other, especially when it's uncomfortable. And if you don't have that, you're allowed to step back, even if people don't understand. So now I want to hear from you. Like this video if you think I was justified in my choice. Subscribe for more real, messy stories like this. And please, share your final thoughts on this whole situation in the comments below. I read them all. I'll see you all in the next story.